Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier 3, the trilogy has just wrapped up. With this being Dustin's retirement fight, he's gonna call it a career in his hometown, but this one didn't go his way. The first fight against Max, that Max comes out on top. It was still a war and both guys went out swinging, so we need to talk about Holloway versus Poirier 3.
But before we get into that, we're Punchlock and are bringing you guys banger combat sports videos, so if you enjoyed the content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Dustin Poirier's retirement fight was everything that it was expected to be. The trilogy against Max Holloway, we saw absolute fireworks with it all accumulating in a win for Max Holloway, finally taking a victory in one of his trilogies. Wasn't able to get it done against Volkanovski in theirs, but against Dustin Poirier for his retirement, spoiling the retirement fight and getting that dub. And Max Holloway looked amazing in this fight, coming back up to lightweight after getting knocked out for the first time in his career by Topuria at featherweight for the belt. It was honestly going to be a question to see how both of these guys were going to look, considering also Dustin got knocked out quite brutally by Justin Gaethje. But you could see Max was very fresh, was looking great, and he really seems very settled into this lightweight frame now, looking quick and a lot more powerful than he used to be, as he was able to hurt Dustin very quick, was using his kicks extremely effectively, using the spinning back kick, using the body kick, using his quick obliques as well. He's really looked like a complete version of himself these days, and his game has definitely evolved quite a lot, in which now he's going to be a top dog at lightweight for a very long time to come. And for Dustin, there's not too much you can say. He fought his all out and did his best, but you can definitely tell these days he's more flat-footed, slower, a lot more trying to play catch up against the quicker Max Holloway. He really struggled to find his range a lot of the fight. When he did land, it definitely was with a lot of power, and he was able to connect well in boxing range, but other than that, he was definitely struggling a lot of the fight, and definitely not the prime Poirier we're used to, but regardless did have a few moments of his own still.
Yeah, you could really tell the difference between this and the second fight, where Max was coming up to lightweight on short notice, not really fully adjusting to the weight class, and then the difference in Max in recent years against Gaethje and what he did in that fight, in that 5-rounder, stopping him in the last second. Then against Dustin, he's been looking phenomenal at lightweight, and he's probably gonna go on a solid run here. He's always been a top contender for so many years, even at featherweight. Obviously, he was a former champion with those wins over Jose Aldo, then losing to Volkanovski and not being able to claim back that featherweight title against Ilya either. Now, as soon as he moves back up to lightweight, Ilya follows suit, and he's now the champion as well there. But they're talking about potentially putting on a BMF fight against Ilya Topuria with the lightweight title on the line as well, but that's going to be far in the future. Definitely not next for Max in my opinion, and that's probably looking too far ahead with contenders like Arman Tsarukyan and Paddy Pimblett in the picture. But we saw the versatility in Max's game with those kicks, especially really ending most exchanges with that roundhouse kick to the body and targeting the body a lot throughout the fight. The straight rights from Max Holloway were really landing clean. You saw the power difference from their second fight to the third. He's had a lot of time to adjust, he's grown a lot, and Max just seemed a little bit more versatile than Dustin, who only really had success in the boxing range. But when he did have success, he was landing big. In that second round, it was just a war. Both guys hurt each other. Dustin at the end of that round was coming out strong with that left hook, which dropped Max, then tried to pull Gilly as he always does. But nonetheless, this was a war, and it's not like this fight had too many implications, or this was the most important fight, or this was for a belt, or this was for a world championship. It was still for the BMF title, but in my opinion, it was more so about the story of these two guys' career, and specifically Dustin Poirier's, with this being his retirement fight, with this being in Louisiana. He was pretty much the star of the show. Even this entire build-up, the entire ending, all kind of revolved around him, and it was a great farewell. And it's great to see the UFC and the promotion and the fans all really get behind a guy who definitely wasn't one of the greatest of all time by any means, but was a fan favorite, always gave the fans exciting fights, put on the best, always fought the best, and put on a show every single time, went to war, had so many bangers with Max, with Dan Hooker, with Islam, so many fights over the years, and it's just a true legend of the game. So the entire story of this fight kind of just wrapped up. It was great to see even Max's son congratulating Dustin Poirier on his career, and this was just a feel-good moment between two guys guys that are some of the baddest dudes who will fight anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. That's really what this fight represented, and Max really showed up the entire time, even in the last 10 seconds. Like against Gaethje, he was already winning the fight. He didn't need to point down and give Dustin a chance really, but he did anyways. Dustin ended up clinching to wrap it up, and while he didn't necessarily go swinging at the end, he probably didn't want to end up like Justin Gaethje, who literally in that last second got completely slumped out cold. So you gotta respect it either way. They put on a war, they put on a great fight, and both guys are for sure gonna go down as legends.
Yeah, these guys are easily first ballot Hall of Fame, and this is just everything you could possibly want from Dustin's perspective for your last retirement fight, getting it in your hometown. The pay-per-view card was literally built around him, getting Lil Wayne to walk out with you, although I don't know why the UFC didn't allow Lil Wayne to have a mic and actually sing the songs, but regardless, he wrapped the belt around the winner. Ended up being Max, but still it was part of the gesture of the whole event, and we got to see his whole career highlight reel with them honoring Dustin, him at the end putting down his gloves for the very last time, and it's just an ultimate feel-good moment. This is what you want to see from the UFC, like you said, honoring a legend of the sport. It is kind of funny how differently some guys will get treated than others. For example, you had John Jones, who retired, and it was basically just Dana White at a press conference announcing his retirement. There was no video package for him, there was no huge announcement for him compared to Dustin, who got this whole card and whole event. But if anyone was to get it, it was definitely to be Dustin Poirier. He deserves it. He's the embodiment of a fighter and what every fighter should inspire to be, pretty much. A guy that just works hard for every event, puts on the most exciting fights, brawls, and is very high level and skilled, and came a long way in his career from originally not being that successful at featherweight, moving up to lightweight, and having so many great names on his resume. So this was definitely a great final event, and for Max, this is going to be a great way to boost him back up there after losing to Ilya. He's definitely still in the title picture for sure. Like you said as well, I don't think he should be getting the next title shot at all. There's a lot of other names out there, but this sets him perfectly to fight some other guys. People have been talking about possibly him rematching Charles Oliveira, both guys having losses to the champion, and maybe him even fighting Arman soon. There's a lot of good matchups, and he can definitely compete very high level against them. He said he wanted Ilya next, and he's been talking a lot about fighting Ilya. He has history with the champion, but he's definitely got to get some more wins in there before I think it's just for him to get the shot, even though he was very exciting here and he did make it look easy. There's still some ways to go for him, but wow, what a story this whole fight was. And it's just nice to see the UFC do this for two of their legends.
Yeah, you love to see the respect between both these guys after having pretty much left it all out there. But it's pretty crazy that Dustin's been saying for a while that he's going to have one more fight. He's going to retire soon. He's had a lot of wars. He's been in a lot of fights, and he doesn't want the sport to retire him. But pretty much since the Michael Chandler fight, he's been saying uno mas, one more fight. And this was really the retirement fight. But for a guy like Dustin Poirier, who's such a fighter, who always goes out there and delivers, and he's only 36 years old, it's not like he's 40 and he's completely washed. He has nothing left to give. I think it's definitely going to be hard for him to stay away from the sport and to actually just call it a day, not try to find another venture, because we see that with so many of these older legends that are so highly respected going into either boxing or bare knuckle or the PFL and end up maybe going on downward skids or trying to fight elsewhere after the UFC. I really do hope for Dustin he's able to find an avenue that he can be very successful regardless, post-retirement, post-UFC career. He doesn't have to continue fighting, and that he's just content with the career he's had, because he's undoubtedly one of the greatest fighters to never win a world title in the UFC. He's had many title shots and he's lost to the best, Khabib, Charles, Islam, and always gave us the best fights. So hopefully this is the true end for Dustin Poirier. He got emotional at the end. This really did seem like the perfect farewell to such a great career, and what a fight to go out with. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below on this fight between Max and Dustin. But if you guys enjoyed and want to see more combat sports on the channel, be sure to check out Was Manny Pacquiao Actually Robbed?